We offer our pardon for stealing your fork on the beach when dusk was sucking up light, waves speedily swallowing the stellar sand creations. Nevertheless, we surely deserve an eviction for stealing your prize. We assume the form of beach pirates, wreckers, but rarely architects. We brandish our plastic shovels and advance like herds of horses, kids zooming and shrieking. Ah, the delicious devastation to pile on and crash down sand castles that were lovingly sculpted and trimmed by somebody's dutiful dad, who spent the whole livelong day from croissants and lukewarm coffee to an afternoon hot lager. He had to wonder if he'd awakened to the morning like a monk beginning a mandala, creating with copious grains of sand, knowing its transitory nature, especially when the ocean's power to devour joins with children's determined sovereignty.
Wow.
Nice.
Boy, do you have a bunch of words in there.
Wow.
Somebody made us put them in there.
You've gone wild with words. There's a tremendous
That
number.
is beautiful.
Yay.
It was Emma and Cooper on the beach with me for a week.
Okay.
And so this is what actually happened, and it just worked with these 5 words for some reason.
This one's right there.
That's amazing.
That is amazing. That's
That's
great.
nice.
Can you pass a copy? Oh, he has one, okay. You have a copy of
Hello,
it?
Milton.
Hello,
Or is
Milton.
that your
I
point?
gave him mine.
Oh, okay.
Oh, here, no, I have more.
Wow.
I'm impressed.
Very impressive.
Yes, that was.
I've never done that, like with more than one
I'd read
prompt.
these later.
And I thought, what, but actually, it made it turn out to be a better poem than it would have been without that. So I thought,
Well,
hey, this
I
is
think it adds a
fun.
lot. I mean, really, I do think it adds a lot.
It does.
Yeah.
It
Makes you
pushes-
go in other
it pushes-
directions.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. It pushes you in directions you
Don't
wouldn't
wanna
have thought of
go.
going. Well,
It makes me decide not to read mine.
But
you're next.
That's what I was
Get it
You
over with.
set a bar pretty high.
I'm not.
Thank you.
Go for
It
it,
was so fun.
I jiggled out 4.
Ooh, you go.
They're nothing.
4.
I printed 2. They're really worthless.
Oh, no, don't say that.
Yeah,
You make fun poems.
I know worthless.
So do we, but this is not it. Anybody go hear the lecture last night about food politics?
Oh, I read. That was
No, I
good.
didn't.
Yeah.
Anybody new or just?
It's Marion Nessel.
Anybody
Oh, anything
novel?
new? Well, I mean, I don't know what you know.
So that doesn't go to, I don't know a fair amount about nutrition and just
Well, she went into more like food policy and advocacy, responsibility.
food
for
deserts, and food
systems.
deserts and stuff.
Not quite.
Oh.
It's more on how the food system is dysfunctional in the U.S.
All
Oh,
is
corporations.
food. Layering croissants with delicious butter reminds me that all is food, even horses. Imagine the godly pardons given or needed to cancel their eviction from Eden.
Wow.
Very good, wow.
It's
Fantastic.
simple and direct.
Yeah.
On the back side,
What about this thing?
the other one is.
You gotta skip the other one.
Aww.
On the back side is something I spent a little time on. Probably should spend more. My president in the land of cha-cha-cha. Jose Marti, poet and revolutionary, once fled the shores of his country to speak of their need for freedom. Today, my president lands in Cuba had an airport named for the poet. Still not free, still oppressed by outmoded regimes, my president smiles, holds out his hand, a man of peace. I hope he sees the grace and interest in the faces in the crowds. I hope he hears the music, sees the lush landscape, smells the multiple flowers. He brought his family. The fascist previous generals and leaders fled when they saw they could no longer hold back the urge for freedom. Unfortunately, the new dictators were no better. Now Miami teems with these ill speakers of my president. They want back what they think they lost at almost any cost. But small steps are better than no steps. He brings hope. Cha-cha-cha.
That's fantastic. I love this. They want back what they think they lost.
Viva
and
Cuba.
almost
Yes,
anything.
Viva Cuba, a beautiful country.
Did you read the other poem?
No, I didn't. You want me to?
Yeah.
Sure.
That's short.
Well, in this day and age, who evicts a family from their home? Who makes pardons anyway? Not the baker who wakes while others sleep to contrive delicious croissants for morning coffee. The horse-drawn wagons of the delivery, whatever that is, clatter on stone roads, ancient as forgiveness.
Is that delivery cab,
Nag,
Yeah,
delivery hack?
nag, probably.
van, whatever.
Okay.
I can look back and look on my original. Well, I have it right here.
Feel it with your fingers. What was close to nab?
Clatter on stone roads is what I had originally.
The one, the
Line
the
before.
line
The line
above.
above that.
Horse-drawn
The
wagon,
horse-drawn wagon of the delivery
whatever.
cab?
Wagon, the horse-drawn wagon of the delivery man.
Oh,
man.
The
That's
horse-drawn
good.
wagon of the
That's close.
That's right. Close.
More
Where,
fun.
I just missed it by one
Havana
key.
cigar.
Yeah.
No big deal.
One
Close
of
on
the
the
things.
keyboard.
So man.
So I went on paper, I really fed it into the machine incorrectly.
Oh,
so it went on,
it's in the
you know,
paper.
I'm sorry, because I apologize for it.
Oh, you've gone long.
Yes,
Short poem on long paper.
just like
That's sure.
Trump's
certainly
sexual
long paper.
attributes.
Are you issuing a subpoena or something?
No, why not? I belong in jail, or what the heck?
What kind
The
of
scroll.
Yeah. Went backwards and he read.
excess is back? You keep me. Oh, Kathy gets to do it.
And here's some.
There's
Probably
the,
be better right side up than go upside down.
Okay, this also rose from last week when I didn't have a computer or chauffeur nor electricity. Many of the computers running down with my problem. Rose, textures, flowers, velvet, plush, rich, pure, iconic, enshrouding. Stone, quartz, it's my precious, cool, crystalline. Poem. Rubaiyat over Khayyam, a rose where someone rooted Caesar bled. A bit of, sorry, yeah. Rubaiyat of Omar Khayyam, a rose where some rooted Caesar bled. A bit gory, but that poem is, let's see. I sometimes never think the grows so red. A rose where some buried Caesar bled. And every hyacinth the guard wears, don't put slap at once noble head. A big gory, Rubaiyat of Omar Khayyam, a rose where some buried rooted Caesar bled. A bit gory, but what an emotive mental picture. A lonely garden path surrounding a verdant flowers which lead to a highly trophic meandering river. A fixture in a plush primeval landscape found in a gallery of the ancestral dead. Hyacinths like brain matter falling, like garden livery, a mixture of the modern and the flourishing. Exotica, erotica of the dead, white male writers who are, who wrote, were read, are read, and shall be read, till the very genome of the rose is no more.
Wow.
Oh, you had a lot of words there.
And that was just rose, that was anything. But I love the Red Omar Khayyam. I read most of it when I was in high school. I memorized the first 4 or 5 pieces. Okay, 5-word prompt. I was totally eviscerated creativity after Rose. Roasted delicious croissant, eviction pardoned. Horses trotting across hills heaped like luxurious, delicious croissant. Autumn tinned woods in which frost had evicted the chlorophyll greens. Pardoning the act of midsummer with creational winter.
I like that.
Well, it's not a poem, it was just, again, I have no initiative to bring my heart anymore of my heart's blood. So tough.
You rose to the occasion for the wine and you can't.
Yeah, no, I think the rose was that good. I contrived some rhyming. You don't contrive that, so you leave it to take its own form. And
It has some beautiful images.
well, thank you. Again, so is Rubaiyat. I know how to spell Omar Khayyam, but I wasn't sure how to spell Rubaiyat. So I had to call the library to get the spelling.
It's the same poem.
Denise?
It's the same poem, it's just that one is two-sided.
Chlorophyll,
The one that you have is-
image that never
That one is
occurred
not.
to me before.
Yes, ma'am.
Well, I enjoy
It's
this.
narrow.
I'm always terrified of sitting across this whole year.
It's a long skinny poem.
Anorectic
Connie
poems.
said she couldn't. At first she said she could, and then she said.
This house, our home, once golden, now sallow, drooping in age, old splendor encaged. This house, our home, with halls that howl the past and evict the present. In bedrooms, lost amid pounds of infinite dust, of times unpleasant. This house, our home, once grand, now broken, pardoning our sins committed too often. This house, our home, with floors of wood, rotten and splintered, speaking softly with sinister whispers. This house, our home, in memories long gone, whose souls did issue, rising at dawn, of horse-playing antics, erasing frowns forlorn. This house, our home, was once a treasure, weeping in silence into forever.
Wow.
Wow, it's awesome.
It's kind of
I
depressing.
don't have a second page. You have an extra one.
Oh, here you go.
Thank you.
Thanks.
What do you not like about it?
Yeah.
I don't know,
It's nice,
It's-
nice.
thanks. It sounds very,
Well,
like
it is that. I mean, it's done, a happy, lovely, it's not,
yeah. I didn't want it to sound depressing, it just came
It's
out
not
that way.
depressing.
Well, it's
It's
a
not-
very
it's not-
suitable
yeah.
refrain, this
Yeah.
house, our home,
Yeah.
this house, our home.
well, and
It really carries the mood.
Are there sad memories attached to it?
No, I
Really?
was sitting inside the house when I started writing it, I'm like, well, what do all those words combine? I don't know, evict, so I thought of home, and I'm like, okay. So, I figured it would be something like someone in a story, but I didn't want to write a story poem, so it ended up like this,
So you made a horse into a horse play.
and the horse playing,
Yeah.
yeah.
I like
Well,
that.
yeah.
Is there any reason other than your, no, I've answered my question.
Oh,
Never mind.
okay. I don't know, I'm curious what your question was.
Is it Kay Ryan that always writes in these short lines?
I don't know, who's Kay Ryan?
Kay Ryan, well-known poet.
not well known, really.
Not well-known to the poetry group,
I don't
anyway.
know.
Maybe the prose group knows the poets,
No,
I don't know.
no.
Anyway, Kay Ryan will always write her poems in a form very similar to this.
I like
Look it up sometime. She's probably in the library in
Kay
numerous
Ryan.
A
volumes.
little kid's typewriter.
I like Lucille
Very
Clifton. Lucille Cecile Clifton writes poems like this. I like her.
Uh-huh.
I looked up Kay Ryan too.
It wastes paper.
I know, I was trying to find a
of old age. Knowing the body human, as the physicians must know, is key to the practice of medicine, and although nothing has been found to cure the aches and pains and ills of advancing years and erosion of life wills, Atul Gawande, a physician of note, has observed that problems of age has failed to respond to prescriptions on page. Rather, the unique social needs of humans still living are the essence of old folks with a will to keep giving. Elder care doctors who are committed to be helpful must deal with hostiles that ignore the social. Together they must consider the Gawande light, which will make the care of our elders just right.
Have you shared this with his wife? Have you shared this with his wife?
Yeah,
Yeah, she saw your poem?
yeah.
Oh, that's nice.
You didn't bring that one you sent me. You didn't bring the one that you sent me on the computer.
For read, those who don't read the New York Sunday Times book review, it's 60-some weeks now that On Being Moral has been on the bestseller list.
Oh my goodness,
My goodness.
it's a fair length of time.
It's in the building.
Yeah.
Advisors,
still on.
presidents.
It's still on the list.
My goodness. I sent you a poem in response.
Yeah, that covered the 5
Yeah,
prompt words.
the 5. And I was embarrassed that I had left a few lines in there. And in writing a poem too delicious to eat, crossing will do, and I think if I
You have enough trouble reading your handwriting as I have reading mine.
you read the words.
The words are horse, pardon,
Yeah,
evict,
yeah.
delicious.
But I sent you the poem,
yeah. And I told you to bring it and you didn't do it.
and I was embarrassed to bring it because of the several lines, the several words
Croissant?
that many of the group may find offensive. Would you read the?
I don't have a copy of it. It was on my computer. I expected you to bring it.
They should. Do you have the internet?
Yeah,
Is it written down there?
if she wants to. I don't know if he wants to.
I think that's it, isn't it?
Scribbles.
On the
Hand
back?
me your book and see if, your paper, and see if I can read it.
Want to hand this to her?
Yeah.
Well, she has it on here.
If you want to check your email on my iPad.
Such
I
magic.
may-
my
There you go, right?
I
Right
may
here,
have to
yeah.
do that. I don't think I'm gonna. I can make out in writing. There's croissant.
You're not giving us much meat to chew on.
There's horse. Oh, he's got the 5 words here. I don't think I can do it from this any better than you can.
You wanna try this, Old?
Do you want to look for it?
Bring it the next time and
Yeah.
see if
Sure.
we're really done.
Yeah.
Or I could
We can live until then.
Yeah, that's true.
One of the things I love about this group is that we can all be embarrassed. I mean, really, and it's very comfortable to be embarrassed, or we can be vulnerable.
Mortified.
It's easy to be embarrassed in the company.
Expound. They decided to end it all. This penny pinching was no good, and so they headed for the mall to see what their pocket money could buy. Searching cheap yet delicious, they hoped horse would be nutritious. 2 croissants finished the menu, their front stoop being their venue. The landlord found them sitting there looking quite satisfied, of course, after they spent the rent on horse. With the eviction delivered, the old woman shivered, and her man gave a booming belch, which he was unable to squelch. He said pardon, but his sly grin grew and then got away from him.
Oh my God.
Oh, man.
Your brain is so amazing.
Shame
That's
on us.
unique.
Horses, opium,
Yeah.
opium. Horse is opium.
Is it heroin? Heroin.
Heroin.
Horse? Yeah.
Okay, the next one is words.
No, that's an old term for it.
I know. But
Detroit days or
It
whatever.
was 5 years ago, yeah.
Words can touch, words can chatter, words can could tell you what's the matter. Words can cut, slice and dice, in other words, be not nice. Lying words have come to hate, embers dying in the grate. Empty words like love and forever go poof like bubbles in bad weather. So what can I say when all is done? Add a grain of salt to everyone.
You're priceless.
Wonderful.
Too many words.
Oh, wow.
This is the day that we focus on age. Principles of brain activities that grow and bestow memories. And starts out our brain preamble. As my wife Mary and I age together, we challenge to remember where we put our keys, remember a name, what we've read, and use of communication technologies. Each year brings new challenges that lead us to consider diagnosing the cause as for these memory lapses, revising our diet, our medications, increasing our daily physical and mental exercises and tasks that we take on to challenge our brain and to maintain and to regain our memory functions with renewed gumption. God created this magnificent thing known as our brain. Thus, to bind stronger memories in our mind, we need to apply memory principles that we find. Our brain has been evolving over thousands of years. It has been learning to create useful memories between our ears. It's time for us to learn how to strengthen those memories. It's our greatest resource to help us recall memories with ease. It's our resource to help us cherish our life. It's our resource that bonds us as husband and wife. It's a resource for each decision we make. It helps us remember life-saving strokes to take in a lake. It helps us relive the joys of remembering our favorite melody notes, and our memories help guide us for whom we decide to vote. Then it goes on, and this is never done because I thought of more before as I was driving down the driveway. The following brain principles will give us vivid memories. 1. Our brain must attend to comprehend and remember. 1. Brain's tension between focus and peripheral attention impacts learning. Brains with focused attention achieve better retention. My wife and I square dance 1 to 2 times weekly, which requires us to attend closely to the caller and practice consistently to learn and remember new calls and dance movements. 2, our brain yearns to learn and remember. Our brain is able to remember more when relaxed, feeling competent and confident. Our brain is motivated to learn, endorphins increase, when power of choice is given it voice. Our brain is motivated to remember when praised for effort. Our brain is turned on to remember when mildly challenged, but turned off when threatened. Our brain has passion to remember when there is a clear purpose. Our brain has devotion to remember when tied to an emotion of friendship, while learning and applying what is learned in a game with our aim to practice what we learned. Mary and I weekly play card games and square dance with friends that provides us with meaningful practice that is challenging and enjoyable. Our brain yearns to learn about the sources and forces that create life. 3, our brain aspires to acquire meaningful memories. Our brain acquires new memories at each developmental stage to become a sage. Our brain acquires and retains information via multisensory immersed experiences that are reflected upon and then conversed about. Our brain differs for men and boys' toys versus women's and girls' thrills, which calls for differentiated learning and memory experiences and expectations. Our brain makes meaning in memories. Our brain naturally seeks meaning from the joys and strifes of life. Bad times can bring good things to learn. Our brains search for meaningful patterns. Dendrites grow and form axon connections as they compare and contrast, dissect and connect ideas. Our brains makes meaning and shares it or pairs it. Our brain seeks perfection of thought in pursuit of meaning that is sought. Our brain develops perfected responses with perfected practice. Our brain possesses unique perceptions which beget unique connections and reflections. Our brain makes memories. Our brain's short-term sensory memories are either tuned or pruned. Our brain working memory requires analytic review work. Our brain at each memory age and stage of life provides its challenges. Our brain use of multiple memory sites increase our memory might. Our brain memories reference to what I believe and are easier to retrieve. And 6, our brain internally reflects and refines. Our brain becomes excited and delighted to interact within and with each other's brains. Our brain simultaneously multitasks as an interactive system that seldom basks. My wife, Mary, and I reflectively review and refine each other's work as we cooperatively edit, proof, and approve. Our brain seeks applications and creative memory expressions. Our brain memories must be used or we lose them. Our brain needs to be engaged in application to achieve satisfactions. Our brain needs to be engaged in creative expression, experience ecstasy in the lesson or the activity. Our brain, when engaged with our Creator, rises from mope to achieve hope. And my wife Mary and I create poetic, musical, pictorial, and artistic family memory albums for us and our relatives. Sorry about the treatise thing.
So you worked on that for 2 weeks or a month?
I've worked on this nearly a lifetime.
Why
But-
did you underline some, oh, I'm sorry.
Why did I underline?
No, go ahead.
Oh, because there's rhyming words within the line, and then there's rhymes at the end of the line, and some of them will get lost, so I just underlined them to highlight them.
Okay. So you're trying to accentuate what you did.
Yeah.
Okay.
You've got so much here that if you would break it into little parts and kind of just, rather than underline, but just give us a little bit, because it's too much to
Yeah, sort
take
of
it
lots of
in.
process. Make a poem out of each Roman
Yeah.
numeral
Each
section.
section
I think-
and just kind of space it down the page a little bit.
Or
Because it's-
multi-poems.
Oh, yes, yes.
You might try the pose group, and there you can do 10, 20-page essay on the brain, something that might be useful and communicative to other persons.
I've been married for 60 years
Congratulations.
and plus. And
So
I
is
would
he.
say, I've been married, and I would say that most days, I have no more idea what's going on in his brain than he has in mine.
What? I thought you were gonna stop after that. I have no more idea what's going on in his brain than he has.
No.
Could be a
I
large
have
zero.
no idea what an hour brain
It's
is.
not a
None. So, that leaves me hanging out there, folks.
Did we run out of?
Now,
pages?
back to poetry.
There are more than I counted.
I have one, I'm sorry, I grabbed
Oh,
two,
I got
I
it.
apologize, I'm sorry, everybody.
This has the exciting title of 5-word prompt. And I think it may be part of a much bigger thing, but that's all it is right now. And the horse you rode in on. But whether or not he heard me before the door slammed is anybody's guess. My interrupted breakfast was waiting, but now the coffee was cold and the once delicious croissant was no longer appealing, and the damned eviction notice just sulks there on the table beside the orange juice. I'm back to worrying about the governor, whether he will decide to pardon Michael, whether my life begins or ends here.
Okay.
It does sound like it.
Needs to be
Needs to
longer
be
here,
continued.
when it happens.
But I have been busy bringing the little wee Puck and the water blue Pret back home again. And life is just a mess with my brother, and I'm trying to get stuff straightened out here. And it's just very time consuming, and mutter, grumble, grumble.
I like the way you started it. And
And
she rode
right.
in on.
You ever noticed that sulks?
Pardon?
You
Yes.
ever noticed sulks?
It does.
That's an active verb, I think.
That just so.
Yes.
Just
It's
is a
sitting there
real
with
nice
his,
modifier there.
sitting there with its lip stuck out.
Patricia,
Evictions
don't
often
lean
do
forward,
this, though,
because
too.
I've got to see him,
Do or
okay?
don't lean forward.
Huh? Don't lean forward.
Stay in
You'll
the
walk
position
him.
I'm in right now.
Huh?
Stay in the position I'm in right now? Is that what you're saying?
Yes, I'll answer for, yes, stay where you are.
Okay, just, because it seems to me that I'm in,
No,
but never
The
mind.
It's always,
angle
it's
she
always
has-
the picture, Patricia.
I
Yeah,
made
but-
Larry
So I
get
get a
back.
copy of your poem, whether I lean forward or not? And
Yes.
nobody has it.
I made Larry get back so I could see you, so.
there you go, Tom.
I gotta sit outside.
I was evading your space, your picture,
That's fine with
your camera.
me. You've got diarrhea of the printer here.
I know. As I said last week, I'm more of a short story writer than a poet. So my words tend to go on, but I also want to tell a story. So
Oh, good.
this is my poem story. Living now in Columbus, you'll hear a lot of what I experience fairly regularly in Columbus, called Streetwise. With all of our furniture, we sat out on the street, making the best of it with little to eat. We'd just been evicted. I missed paying the full rent. For the third month in a row, my earnings were all spent. I asked for more time, a pardon, a pass. No dice, said the landlord, a true horse's ass. I want to go home, my son cried. Don't worry, I said, we'll soon. I lied. My take-home's $800 a month, never more. That's $200 a week for a family of 4. A month's rent is $680. Now someone please say, can you raise 3 kids on $4 a day? I once had a second job cleaning houses. The pay was minimal. But I was fired, accused of stealing. They said I was a criminal. The extra part-time money bought us food, hardly delicious, and I can certainly attest it was not very nutritious. But at least we ate. The kids had more than just bread. Now we had no home, neither a roof nor a bed. Our situation is quite common, not so odd, you see. In fact, there are many millions who, like me, raise families in shelters, on streets or in vans, find meals in churches, often in dumpsters or trash cans, while those with the money live high, big houses, nice cars, dine on king crab and croissants, drink wildly at bars. We're left to beg on sidewalks, where $1 or more might get my kid a coat from the second-hand store. The system is rigged, you know, so the winners take all, while working people like us are used, abused, take the fall. Capitalism's run amok and greed rules the day. Wealth flows to the top and the rest have little to say. The rich buy the votes, get elected, set the laws. Just that alone should give us reason to pause. And they then design structures to keep all in place. Guns and guards, profits from prisons, such a disgrace. They set the prices on things we need, which we then can't buy, leading us to ask, how can this be, or just simply why? So what's to be done to change the whole mess? Me, I'm ready to break the system. I must confess to wanting the rich to fall prey to loss, terror, and such. And I have to ask you, is that exacting too much? But would you live on the street, in a shelter, a tent, or a train? Would you let your kids suffer indignity and pain just because you, their mother or father, is set up to fail, while 1% of the world has found the holy grail which it protects with its armies, its force, and its walls, and progress toward change and equality lapses and falls? I'll play by the rules if they're made by those who care, by people who realize that justice for all is only what's fair. But do you think in our lifetime there'll be any solution short of upheaval, some kind of revolution? We must turn things around, really change, and not by a lot. Hey, I'm not asking for much. I surely don't want the whole pot. But do the rich truly need all that they've got? The uprising that's coming doesn't have to be hot. With education and insight, we can show everyone that we're in this together, all of us under one sun. Certainly in America, there is plenty of wealth for all to have a home, some food, and good health. I'll fight for what's right. I'll march in the street so everyone has housing and something to eat. And you, kind listener, your job is clear. Please tell my story so others can hear about those who work hard, earn little, and give America its life, asking only in return enough to live.
Wow.
In the great tradition of Bernie, etc. That's great.
You know, I've having, as I said, living in Columbus, I see people, I know a good friend who works at the shelter there, and not only do I know families who live in shelters, but families who live on the street.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And it's, so I used to pass people without giving them $1, and now I can't anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, what's $1? And like my friend who works at the shelter said, You don't know what they're gonna do with that dollar, so they go and buy a cigarette lighter, or they go buy a Coke, but
It's a piece of
They need
kindness that you hand.
Was.
Yeah, we
You're handing
we
that.
do our resident panhandler on, actually,
These people can't play by the same rules that we do, or that I do. And that my self-protection instinct, for some reason, is missing in a lot of these people. And they get themselves into the god-awfulest mess you ever want to see, and ending up eating handed out peanut butter and jelly sandwiches 7 days a week. It's more than not having a society that thinks about these people. It's that there is no true solution at the present time.
Back to poetry.
So be it. 2 magnificent Arabian horses, Delicious and Crystal, owned by the Duchess of Gooseberry, found themselves evicted from the estate for a time after eating her ladyship's lady slippers. However, soon after, they were
You got a little fairy tale.
Beautiful.
5 Plump Delicious. The ranger ordered a warm, fruity croissant. They're delicious, he cooed to his sturdy mount. It being crumbly, he couldn't eat it while riding the horse, nor fighting his way through the thicket of gorse. Being sloppy was not his central predilection, and his landlord had taught him it could bring about eviction. Being mindless and sloppy, no one could pardon, though in time the pastry would grow dry and harden. So the ranger munched on the delicious croissant, spilling lots of crumbs on the mane of his mount. He knew from his stall the horse would not face eviction, and surely would be pardoned from any such foolish
That's
conviction.
great.
That double use.
Wow.
They all
You
appear.
get extra points for that.
Yeah.
Written in his stall.
I can just see the crumbs.
Yeah.
And that vein.
falling down the red
Yes.
jacket.
What is gorse?
Gorse is a spiny thicket that grows quite tall, particularly in wetlands.
Oh,
So it's not something that you would ordinarily encounter, but our ranger did. Rangers do things like that.
And it is prickly, there's no question about it.
He was the Lone Ranger. On the other side, we have Chinese and Portuguese and Oceanese.
oh.
The ocean lay serene and beckoning. Slinky sat in that classic cat pose, still and meditative in his striped gray suit, as he gazed out over the blue from the shore of that flat, calm ocean, endless to the limits of the horizon. He is nothing but quiet, steady, his vision centered at one with his posture. I think I feel what he feels and see what he sees. Nothing occurred, but let's say he was at one with far out and with where he sat. Would you think we could communicate from one species to another? Can it be that species difference is not important in a transcendent time as that? Robert Frost wrote, "The people along the sand all turn and look one way. They turn their back on the land, they look at the sea all day. They cannot look out far, they cannot look in deep, but when was that ever a bar to any watch they keep? Can we say how Slinky differs from those people along the sand? For he came time and again and contemplated the same as we."
Oh,
Slinky was one of our cats when we lived in the Florida Keys. And he used to sit down on the shore and gaze out to sea, just like any human would looking to Cuba, I guess. He was waiting for Obama's arrival.
So,
Okay, so this has the 5 prompts. I did not include that anyplace, like some of you did, but you will recognize them. What if it is true? Eating their delicious, fluffy, lightly toasted croissants, they appeared to have satisfied all their needs and wants. Cars, good jobs, a big house, fame. What was left for them to tame? If they saw it, liked it, they could buy it. The price was absolutely no object. Traveling wherever and whenever. They did it all. Could life get any better? That's what they thought, as do numerous others in their position. Get more, the biggest, fastest, newest. This was their life ambition. Though they were well off, they lacked the key component. Alas, all the wonderful stuff could not provide their atonement. One day, a trumpet will be heard around the entire earth. Is it significant? Did it relate to them? Where is its worth? Soon, a rider on a white horse will split wide open the sky. Many will be giving a victory shout. Others, in pain, will cry. The announcement. The time of accountability has arrived. The truth is, it doesn't matter what you ate or where you lived. What is in your heart is the question for all to answer. God's pure love made sure all had been offered an anchor. Only one thing was required. Sadly, they did not possess it. Their money could not buy it. How to obtain it? It's a free gift. How often had they heard the message, only believe? God had already provided the way for all to receive. Every individual who walks the world has been offered a pardon. God honors their choice, but pleads, come before the final curtain. God does not want any evicted. God desires all to enter into heaven. Who will hear God's heart? What to do when one receives this beckon?
Knitted that in well, those words.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It's gone through several renditions, and if you have any suggestions, I am open.
Thank you for sharing.
Yeah, this is a very special week. And I was pleased how the words followed, because otherwise I probably would have written something about the resurrection. So I was pleased. At first I was thinking, how are we going to use this with these prompts? I mean, they're totally unrelated.
Everybody did.
Yeah.
That was very fun.
Yeah, it was.
that's what I find so fascinating about doing this, is how differently people handle the same. A lot of people did do delicious croissants. I'm almost trapped in doing that, but really the whole basis of whatever story they did was, I think it's just fascinating.
They were almost all equine in some fashion.
Well, we had a horse around somewhere.
We had that, yeah, mandatorily.
And drugs.
We ate horse meat during the Second World War.
I ate it when I was in Europe. I wanted to see what it was like. And there are two things I discovered. A, it's sweeter than
Yes.
beef. And B, it's bloodier than beef. Working with it is really, it's really a unpleasant
Less
sticky.
fat.
Yeah, but it also seems to be a lot more blood involved. It's stickier.
It's all muscle.
Yeah. We don't have fat horses.
They're plump.
You got a lazy horse.
Pardon?
Maybe you ate a lazy horse.
I guess we all cooked ours until it was dry.
Yeah, well,
Instead
the
of
first
bloody.
the first time I had it, I didn't realize it was horse,
Uh-huh.
because I was in France and
Yeah.
I'm from the United States where we don't knowingly eat horse.
Right.
So I got this, I went into the butcher shop, got some meat. I thought I went into a shoe shop and bought a shoe because it was there. The second time, I knew it was horse, though I would not eat colt. Foal, actually, I guess you would.
Aw.
Because you could buy it, but I just couldn't quite.
It's like veal, I don't
Yes,
think it's quite
a
as
baby
barbaric.
cow.
I don't think it's quite as barbaric.
It's because we're used to eating cows. And
But-
eating a baby cow is
But I don't think, I don't think colt is quite as barbaric to raise as we raise veal here in America. In America, we keep the calf restrained in a box by the size of its body.
Yeah, to keep it
Alive.
pale and all that.
Well, most people don't want to raise male cows. So
No, they can't. You can't raise a male cow.
don't want to eat male cows. Raise male cows. Because, I mean, they send them off to feeding lots as soon as
Well,
they're.
Yeah, and I think most of the horse that they eat in Europe is probably stallion, so, because,
We lived in dairy country for a while, and what they do to their animals is unbelievably cruel.
the other thing, when I was in Italy, that I thought it was interesting that if you bought rabbit, they always had their feet on. And it was a federal law, because that's the way you could tell whether it was a rabbit or a cat. By its feet. Well, after the war, they would eat anything that couldn't outrun them. And you couldn't really blame them, because their whole
When
system
I
had
was a
been
kid,
destroyed.
people bought rabbits' feet to put on their keychain.
Yeah.
Well, it's sort of silly
To bring
because,
them good luck.
Of course.
yeah, but it wasn't very lucky for the rabbit.
No, I feel that same way about fur coats, you know. They look much better on the animal
Yeah.
than they do on
They
the.
also put squirrel tails on their car antenna.
Yes, right,
You know, or,
yeah, this is
And the
such
raccoon,
callousness.
the raccoon hats that they used
Yeah,
to wear.
right. Daniloo.
Oh, well, the times they have changed.
Callow years.
Leather stocking.
Doesn't necessarily improve, but they've changed.
I think we made a record. We're already finished.
Anyone here ever heard of Albert Schweitzer?
Once or twice, I've heard the name.
Oh.
He lives over on Union Street.
I never
doesn't he?
I never know. He was a gentle person who would not even brush the ants off his papers as he wrote. He wasn't Gandhian, but he was a man of principle as far as harming other beings, and I like that.
Was he from Switzerland? Because this is the first time I've ever even thought about his name, because, you know, in Switzerland, they speak 3 different languages.
Yeah.
And the German is called Schweizerdeutsch, because it's from Switzerland. So Albert Schweitzer must have been Swiss.
I'm glad you thought of that.
Just now, when you,
Very
Wondering
good.
about that.
Yeah, I was, now I'm fine. I was.
well, good. I'm glad I brought enlightenment.
Actually, his Italian mother happened to give birth to him while she was in Switzerland. So
And so-
he has dual citizenship.
All of the other kids were named Italo or something like
That's
that,
right,
right?
yeah.
But we have this one called Schweitzer.
She traveled a lot.
But you do, let me change my pronoun. I do. Often you get these thoughts of, but that means so-and-so. Isn't that interesting? What's the history behind?
Mhm.
It's like when I was walking down the street in Germany and saw the international sign for hospital, which is a white H on a blue field.
Mhm.
Well, under it was the German word Krankenhaus. You'd think it'd be a
Yeah,
white
you
K.
mentioned
instead of an
this
H.
before.
But anyway, I just thought Kranken.
He's French German.
Cranky.
I just looked it up, sorry. He's French German.
You're good. You're
No, I'm not
good.
good, it's the iPad. It's
Well, you're good.
I'm
You
curious
looked
about
it up.
stuff like that too.
The alternate
Did
Right.
you find Milton's poem?
Oh, it was emailed to Patricia, so I don't.
I could find it if you have, is that open to,
It's the
The
Wi-Fi
internet,
of the
yeah.
internet here.
yeah, but you have the internet on it, right?
Right.
Well, let me have it, see if I can.
Okay, so I don't know what
Oi.
kind of email you have. Do you have
All the
Gmail?
choices.
Hotmail.
Okay, so you can just go to Safari.
Safari, I know that will do. Now where do I go?
Then you click on the top or point or tap.
Stories.
And then you www.hotmail.
Go on Tom's.
Will you do that for me?
Sure. Yeah, I know, it's a little.
I have toyed with the idea of getting a laptop and then I get hold of one of these and I think, no way.
Everybody's head.
Not gonna work.
It can be convenient, and sometimes it's not.
Pretty gory. The cat, dogs never hurt the cat.
There you go.
So
So you just have to, your finger's the mouse.
at each other's.
I do what?
You just have to tap in the box. Your finger is the mouse.
Rats.
You rest in your fingers.
And then a keyboard should automatically pop up in the
It
bottom.
should, but it doesn't.
Shay's finger.
Like his finger, don't like my finger.
Yeah, it is right there.
Yeah.
Oh, not your fingernail, your
Oh, that's
finger. Yeah.
Shay, what model do you have?
I don't know. My mom got it on Black Friday. She was on sale. I was just like, I got you a
If I get
present.
one, I want to get one.
It's an iPad mini. I didn't realize it's a mini, because to me it's pretty big.
Yeah,
Well,
that's a good size though.
how do I get it to go down to?
Okay, this one, so then you go here.
That's okay.
There, and then
Thanks.
that's it. There you go, that's for the
Okay.
password.
Remember which?
What is going on here?
You can turn that off now.
Yes.
Yeah,
So
actually.
when is this
I didn't do
aired?
this right.
Yeah, you can get it on the internet.
Oh, right.
Just anytime, you can go,
She
you
didn't
go
hear
to, I
you.
think it's YouTube. You just go to YouTube. Go to YouTube and put in, what is it? Access TV or Athens Poetry Group?
Athens Access TV, something like that will get you there.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I don't know, I never.
I've never done it.
Never looked at it.
I don't think anybody has. I found it by accident.
Oh, how can you find it by accident?
Well, I don't know, something happened. I was looking
Oh,
for Athens or poetry.
I am getting
service.
nowhere on this thing.
I was doing
Can you type in,
Appalachian
because I
storytelling.
thought I had to do